I am Halli Casser-Jayne, and welcome to the Halli Casser-Jayne Show, where along with my partner in politics, veteran White House correspondent Matthew Cooper, we slice and dice all things politics, and some days, Donald Trump too. Before we begin, Matt and I want to thank you for your loyalty to our podcast. We appreciate your support, and so do our advertisers. Now, on this episode of the Halli Casser-Jayne Show, we begin with, "Will you shut up, man?" The words flew out of the mouth of septuagenarian Joe Biden in the first debate between the presidential hopeful, former Vice President Joe Biden, aimed at the no, he wouldn't shut up, rage-filled current occupant of the White House, Donald Trump, when Fox News anchor Chris Wallace, the debate moderator, couldn't contain the out-of-control POTUS. That's where we begin on this recap of the first debate of election 2020. And we tackle a whole lot more. You're in for a wild ride. Here we go. Welcome, my friends. Here's where we are this week. We've reached yet another milestone. Yep, our weekly event. There are more than 7.5 million cases of COVID in the United States. More than 210,000 poor souls are dead, and I'm going to be really good today, Matt, but I'm going to tell everybody why in a minute. Jobless claims remain well over 800,000, and as we go to tape, there are 32 days, 784 hours, 4,740 minutes, 2,822,444 seconds until election 2020. But who's counting? Sigh. I'm going to say good morning, Matt, but it's already evening for me because I've been up since about 4:30, 5 o'clock this morning, freaking out over Mr. Trump. How are you?
Freaking out over how great he did and what a wonderful talk he gave in that debate and how he put Sleepy Joe down.
Good.
Sleepy Joe choked.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah.
What a night.
What a night. You know, I felt like an abused woman. I did. I felt like when I was leaving my first, I won't go after that, but my first marriage, maybe my second. Maybe. I mean, I did. I felt abused. Did you feel abused? I've never seen anything like that. I mean, that man is not okay. He's just abusive.
Found it, maybe I'm just getting old. I found it hard to process. Like each sort of outrage was sort of piled on top of the other. And of course, there was so much crosstalk that I found it quite a difficult listen. A fair amount of it I heard on radio.
Yeah, I saw that. That's interesting.
So I thought Nixon won. That's a joke, kids.
Yeah.
Debate.
Right. Yeah. No, I got to tell you, I was shaking. It was totally uncomfortable. He had a look on his face, Mr. Trump, a redness and a bloat that hasn't been there. And it was like it was almost another person had taken over him, because there is the verbose, obnoxious Trump. This was something else. This was different.
No, this made the Hillary debate look like Lincoln Douglas.
Exactly.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so bizarre. Yeah. I mean, it was tough to watch. I don't know if the whole depressing spectacle will, kind of depress everyone's vote, which is probably good for Trump. Like, it'll just. Even Biden-inclined voters will just say, oh, screw it, it's all messed up.
Well, I think not, and I'll tell you why I think not. Because, first of all, Biden raised more money during that debate than he had raised all along, apparently. That window was amazing. So people were riled up, and they said enough is enough, kind of thing. And so I think, if anything, it's going to rally. And I thought that because I know you weren't home, but... So you weren't really watching, but afterwards, they did these voter survey things that they do.
Right. And those were all good for Biden.
Yeah. I've been dying to ask you this, and this is no joke. I'm asking you this, as a political pundit and as my friend, as a male friend. What's up with white men? Seriously. Can you explain it?
Well, it's really white non-college men who are the really hardcore Trump supporters. And I think that's a kind of long story about, kind of alienation and feeling left out. And I know minorities will think that's crazy, but whatever it is, it's really that demographic more than college educated white men, although they still go for Trump, but not in the numbers.
But it was really interesting because some of the men that they interviewed on that, voter thing afterwards were well-dressed, clearly educated guys. And they were more ferocious, actually, than the poor schnooks, than the schnooks, with all due respect. I mean, I think it's some of this, and I don't know what'll happen when they go to vote, because there's that secret of the voting process. But boy, it was like, for them, it was like watching the WWE, and they were excited. This one guy stands out in particular in my brain, and he was like, yeah, this is, very educated, incredibly well dressed. You could tell he was a runner. He had that runner body, that fit thing going on. Right. And I went, oh my God. Oh my God. So I think there is a male component that women cannot comprehend about how a lot of men see Trump.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that. Yeah. I think there's a lot of macho, and
that's involved.
I don't know if it's in culture. People watching, UFC fighting.
Honey, it's testosterone.
People buying trucks that are enormous. Just like, truck sales have vast outpaced, any other kind of car sales now, and they're getting huger. And there is a sort of like, talk about virtue signaling. There is a sort of, display factor of it, and maybe Trump's part of that. I don't know. Obviously,
well, he's not, but he's playing it for all.
I don't mean to. I don't know. And let me ask you about the ladies. Do you think the ladies? I turned to my sister-in-law and I said, "My God, every woman has met a guy like this."
That's true. That's what my point was.
Stand him.
Right. I mean, that's, we've all been there. We've all had one of those in our lives. I mean, it's just part of the process of.
I mean, not necessarily, physically.
No. But
total blowhard.
Yeah, like just whatever, and it's stunning. It's stunning, and a lot of my friends who I spoke with thereafter, I do my rounds because I want to check that where everybody is, and that's what I got from everybody. I felt like it was in the end of the last day of my first marriage, my trial marriage, my starter marriage, and and I've seen this in men, but everybody did say to me that but this was something even. I mean, all joking aside, you saw a side of him that apparently is the side that they have been talking about in the Oval Office that they see on a daily basis. This rage. I mean, Bob Woodward, rage. The guy's in a rage. I mean, he needs anger management.
Yeah, I got to say, it didn't have any of the. I mean, say what you will about the rallies, but he does have a certain
cuteness. Yeah, cuteness.
Yeah, he's a little coy. He's occasionally funny. Yeah. I mean, there was kind of none of that. It was just all.
No, he was over the top, babe. He was. He wanted to eat Joe Biden, and poor Joe Biden.
Yeah, and for someone who knows the media, I mean, who spent so many hours on television, you learn the famous phrase from Marshall McLuhan that television is a cool medium.
Right.
Less is more, that anger is exaggerated by the camera.
But here's the deal, buddy. This is the point. He was out of control. He was completely
I think there's something
out of control. He couldn't stop himself. And that was what was so weird about it. We got to move on because we've got a lot to get to. I don't have as much time as we normally do. So let me. I'm taking in Biden. We're moving over to Biden. That too I found fascinating. I thought, Matt, he did the right thing by laughing at it, by belittling him in kind of a quiet way. Here's what I'm going to say to you: decency does not play as well as gargantuan insanity, and it dwarfs you. Decency dwarfs a man in that environment, and that's something they're going to have to figure out how to play. Because being there and being self-controlled and being a decent guy and not raising your voice and playing it, it doesn't play as well.
Yeah. Well, you need sort of decent and tough, like Henry Fonda or, Joseph Welch telling Joe McCarthy, have you no sense of decency? And, you've got to be, you can be decent and a little tougher.
I think I think you can, but the kind of decency that that Biden is selling, I'm not sure that's true. Yeah,
I don't think he's as good at it because he's not as he's just not disciplined enough, I think, to quite pull it off. But if you look at the sort of the Henry Fonda soliloquies in different movies or that episode,
that's a big man. Henry Fonda had a huge head. He was a big guy.
Right.
And where Biden is right now is kind of, doddering on that frail thing.
I mean, you want a little more, in a way, being quiet is the best thing, but you can go even quieter. You can be a little more Gary Cooper,
Right. Good. And maybe
a little more strong and silent.
Yeah. But you can't do that on TV either, so that makes it kind of hard.
Tough.
He's in a tough position. That's what. Yeah.
I mean, clearly he was trained for the Biden of 2016, or blustery but not insane.
Right. But nevertheless, I do think he handled himself for all intent and purposes pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, Trump was like a chimp with a gun.
Yeah. I didn't like the fact that he told him, shut up, man. That didn't play with me.
Because if you say shut up, man, and he doesn't shut up.
Or if you say shut up, first of all, he does that. He does that like 1970s, 60s. He does it a lot. Man, and, he goes back to these old phrases that we all dropped 1,000 years ago. And I wish he would get rid of them. But saying shut up is just not don't go there. That's how I am on shut up. But okay. But he did all right under the circumstances, because I know I would have turned around and socked Trump.
No, I understand. Yeah, absolutely.
So I thought he handled himself for all intent and purposes fantastically well. And then poor Chris Wallace. Oh boy. I never thought he would be so bad.
Everyone's all over him, but it's and I don't think he did a good job. But I also sympathize because it's
well,
an impossible situation. I mean, you can't. He didn't have the power to turn off the mics. All you can do is kind of say, "Gentlemen, please." I mean, it's a very hard.
It's a bad role to be in, but it was also the way he asked questions of Trump and the way he asked questions of Biden that I thought, his right-wing Fox thing came out. He was helping Trump in some ways, in ways that he wasn't helping Biden. And I'd be more specific if I could be, but right now, because I didn't sleep last night, I can't be that specific. But they're now saying that they're going to put a kill switch on the mic, and I don't think they should do that, and let me tell you why. Because that's helping Trump. That's helping contain Trump. And frankly, I want to see Trump do exactly what he did this time, the second time, and the third time, because maybe that'll convince people. So I don't think they should do that.
Yeah, no, he'll be a martyr.
Exactly. So I think
No, totally. Kristen Welker turns off his mic. They'll just, they'll just gin up all those white.
Well, also, why help him? Why help him?
Yeah.
Why help him? That's what it's all about. Why help him? Because people need to know who he is. Grand Old Proud Boys Party is the new name of the GOP.
Yeah, the Proud Boys.
Jesus, Matt, that.
Brown shirts was taken, I guess.
Oh God, seriously? And he can't apologize. He won't.
No.
It is who he is. This is no fake, and that's the thing. That twinkle we were talking about. That twinkle is his BS. So who we saw and what he's really about is he is a Proud Boy, and so are all his little Proud Boy brown shirters, super spreaders. I call them the SS team now. They're super spreaders all around him. I know you love my making names up for people, but
No, I like it.
It works. It just works. It's just give him back what he dishes out. But
no, I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the fact that they can't back down on this. And Chris Christie and Rudy Giuliani, who were the ones who prepped him for this. And then, by the way, and then Chris Christie prepped him and then went on ABC as a pundit paid. Not okay, ABC.
No, I mean, for us old timers, George Will got in huge trouble for doing that way back in the Reagan era. So, yeah, it's not great.
Not great. Biden spent $153 million to $57 million last month. I like that. Polls are looking good.
Yeah, look, they're looking good and they're very stable. There's still some time out there on the clock, but Trump's not really doing much to turn this around. So, every day that goes by and he can't get it together. Biden is one day closer to being president-elect.
Before I completely abandon the debate, how do you think it affects it? Do you think it has no effect? Do you think it has some effect? Do you think it helps Biden? Do you think it helps Trump?
I think it probably helps Biden. I mean, I just think that the Trump was just too crazy, and I think I don't think it helped swing voters move to Trump. It only helped them move to Biden, and I don't think it super fired up the Trump base. I don't know. I mean, you can never tell, but I don't think it helped Trump at all. I think it hurt Trump, but probably at the margins. Probably not.
What did they say? Maybe 10. Maybe 10% of the vote is even up for grabs anyway.
Biden suddenly,
surge. If Steve Schmidt is correct, and all those guys in that Lincoln Project group, they're all saying that this is going to be a blowout. That these kind of numbers that Biden has across the board.
Well, I think if they stay that way, sure. I mean, and I think, by the way, I think we're going to know earlier than the conventional wisdom, like that the count is going to take weeks. Florida counts its absentee the same night. Trump loses Florida by 9, 10 o'clock.
Then it's over.
Kind of game over.
Well, let's talk. Let's talk that. Let's talk first of all voter fraud, because that's. I mean, we have to talk that because that's what he's playing. I mean, he's trying to set it up to play it. So, everybody's going to think twice. I don't know if I've asked you this before, because I have ignored it pretty much in my brain, because I think, okay, guys, you're over the top on this. He's not going to leave. But Matt, maybe he's not going to leave.
I don't, no. I mean, when the electors, if the electors get elected and they certify, he's going to leave. I mean, the term will be over. He'll be frog marched out. I really don't think.
I think if
the question is are the Biden electors going to get to the Electoral College? I think they will. I don't.
Well, Nancy's working on it for sure.
But I think all his desperate gambits are going to be tough. Now, I don't think there's a single. Florida came down. 2000 came down to one state, Florida, and so the Supreme Court could take one case and decide the election. You can have multiple states this time. There's no one court case that can deliver the election to Trump. So I think if Biden wins, and I do think he'll win, Trump is going to go. Now he's going to complain. His people are going to be riled up that it was stolen. He's going to bitch. He's not going to go to the inauguration.
No, he's going to try and kill any term that Biden earned.
And he's going to say, that's it was stolen. And I'm leaving now, but this was stolen. I'm a terrible victim.
Well, yes. But I also think that the reason that his crazies in the Senate and the House and behind him in the cabinet are playing this game with him is not for him, because they know he's going to be gone, but it's to completely delegitimize. They're going to say this is what Obama Biden did to Trump and Comey and everybody else and Russia, and we're going to watch us do it now to Biden, and this is all a setup to destroy Biden.
Yeah. They didn't need any extra stuff to do that, but yeah.
No, I'm saying once he gets elected, because that is just the way this is going to play out. They're going to try and play it. I don't think they can do it, but that's another story for if Biden gets in. I want to move to Fox News very quickly, because I want to make an observation very quickly that I had, which is when I turned it on to see what they were saying about all of this. I noticed something that was kind of weird, and that is the people in the field, the correspondents in the field, come in with crap. Just, pro-Trump, he's the best, this is what I heard, la, 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 la. And that the anchors are, I'm talking about the news anchors, I'm not talking about nighttime.
Right.
Are correcting them and saying, well, that's not true. And I've seen that all week long. Have you noticed that?
I don't think I've watched enough to
Well, I only watched it a few times.
Like the young Ducey is...
God, what a piece of work.
Talk about affirmative action.
Oh, my God. Help. I mean, really. But, yeah.
The young Steve Ducey is, I forget his first name, but, he's Trumpian. Some correspondents I've seen have played it straight, or certainly I think Jennifer Griffin's very good, the defense person. I don't know. Well,
it's very Fox is Fox. Okay, moving very quickly because, again, we're running out of time. And I'm moving to Bloomberg coming into Florida to save the day, and he's going to pay off the felons stuff and whatever. And, of course, we voted here to restore felons' rights to vote. Right. And then DeSantis used the same money that we all pay taxes for we got 9%, I think, as our tax here for whatever, and stopped it. And then Bloomberg says, no, we're going to go in there. And the very minute he did that, the Florida Attorney General went to town and is suing Bloomberg and saying he's interfering in elections. And now Larry Klayman and a whole bunch of other of those idiots, Judicial Watch, are coming in psychotic and, whatever. This is a lawless state. I need to state that very loudly and very clearly. In this respect, the Republican Party owns this state hook, line, and sinker, and you don't even hear from Democrats. I mean, Graham, the daughter of the former Democratic governor who ran and didn't get anywhere. Yeah. Andrew Gillum, of course, is, doing his mea culpa at the moment. But there's no Democratic voice in the state right now, Matt. It's bizarre. It is bizarre. Now, I do know, because I'm working with them now, Biden finally threw in a lot of money into the state. And with Bloomberg's help, and I'm working with them, and they've called, and they've got they're putting the signs out. They've got a really good team of people. They're right on it. But you waited the last minute after Trump had these big 12-foot signs on every other street corner, literally. But I'm just saying, this thing that's going on down here. If the Democrats do anything, they need to do something about the Democratic Party in the state. There are a lot of Democrats in the state. There is no reason this shouldn't be going Democratic. None. By a long shot, by the way. Well,
I think...
Except they own the infrastructure.
If Biden wins the state, that'll do a lot to energize it. And you got some congressmen, obviously Demings and...
But Demings they're quiet. They're quiet. I have a friend who lives in Lauderdale who were really good friends, and it's like you said, you never hear from the congressman.
Shalala's out
Deutsch
all the time.
They're not. They're really not. They're not. Yeah. This is Florida. Why isn't Ted Deutsch, who, by the way, is fabulous and could be like a senator, and he's just adorable and smart.
I'm sure he wants to be,
but he doesn't do anything. Florida. We're going to have a show just on Florida. Obama's also relatively quiet. I want to say that. That's all we need to say. I'm sure he's going to hopefully surface in the last 30 days.
Well, the book is out soon. He'll be out there. The book is out soon, and he'll be out.
Isn't the book out after November? After the election?
Oh, it's after November? I thought it was. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I think it's bizarre. He's been, but I guess he doesn't think he needs to do anything right now. Leave it alone. It's working. Brad Parscale, another Florida man. Good God.
He's a classic Florida man.
Jesus. Yes. Oh, my word.
I mean, it's, you never want to gloat about somebody going through, a mental breakdown and being violent and having the police come, but Jesus. Jesus Christ. Yes. I mean, he seems to be a domestic abuser, and he's, was until very recently the campaign manager, and he's still with the campaign.
Today he backed down, but let me tell you why I think the story is very important. There's a lot of money missing from the GOP and the RNC.
Totally. I mean, this guy, I think they really...
and I don't believe...
The Lincoln Project was very smart to play that up.
Right. And I don't think it's going into Brad Parscale alone, with all this story that we've got now about Trump and his taxes. Holy shit.
Right? Yeah. oh, look, the grifting is aerobic. They just they're just the most energetic grifters.
Aerobic. I'm thinking Jane Fonda grifting.
Aerobic grifting. Feel the burn, because it's just like any chance there's some grifting.
This is all sooner or later. I mean, this is why if I were Trump, I'd be, he doesn't want to lose because he's going to go to jail. I mean, SDNY is going to get him. There's you'll never convince me they won't. And whatever kind of deal they cut, it will be very painful to Trump. I mean, how many billions of dollars is he in debt for? I mean, this is a story too. We might have to go long, and
that didn't really come up more specifically in the debate.
I didn't understand.
From a president who owes $400 million to shadowy figures. I mean, Jesus, it would be bad enough if you have Chase, but
that's due. And that's due. I mean, it's coming due.
Yes, I know. I mean, it's unbelievable to have a
monopoly
essentially
game.
Can be held hostage.
You were listening to the Halli Casser-Jayne Show. The Halli Casser-Jayne Show posts new podcasts weekly at hallicasserjayne.com and is available wherever you listen to your podcasts. Be sure to find us on Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and on all your favorite apps. You can find the Halli Casser-Jayne Show on your Alexa device too. Just say the Halli Casser-Jayne Show. Oh, and come play with me on Twitter at the Halli CJ Show. This is a story that I'm sorry. I just think the press, they did, God bless the New York Times. I would love to know where they got it from.
Right.
Stuff. But I have to say, I mean, it's eye-opening, and I just don't think, and it's been dropped already, and I'm like, why? This is, oh my, you could end Trump on this alone if you played it right. If the Democrats are just punting.
The $750 in taxes. I mean,
can you imagine?
He
did that only twice.
Yes, I mean, if you were working the counter at Taco Bell, you were paying more. I mean, it's.
Do you remember that house in Florida in Palm Beach that Trump bought
sure.
With a Russian house?
Right, sold it a lot to the Russians, right? He flipped it.
For like a gazillion dollars, and the place was apparently. Yeah. They're money laundering up the yin yang. And I just, that just, oh dear. That's all I have to say. Oh dear. Cause it's ridiculous. So I gotta stay on that story. And that's one of my issues with the press, which is they just, he's just leading them down with, that they've got leads on their necks like they're horses. Come on with us, press.
Not pretty.
It's not pretty. It's not. Okay. Amy Coney Barrett.
Feels like a year ago she got nominated. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long week.
We need to talk about this lady, and here's why we need to talk about this lady. The only ones who are saying the Dems are attacking her for Catholicism, and I'm just doing this now because I want it to be a setup, folks, so you understand what's about to happen. There's no evidence anywhere, in fact, that they've been silenced. And so, I comb everything. You know me, Matt. And Dems are not the ones who are going after her for being Catholic. And for God's sake, the Dems voted in and elected the first Catholic president, Mr. Kennedy. So, what a crock of hoo-hoo-hoo. She is, however, a cult member. And that is fair game. People of praise. It's just not a charismatic. You have to sign a document that you pledge to their covenant. She's been with them forever. You have to say that you are, your husband is the leader and you are subservient to him. And this morning, where she'd been a prominent part of their website for recruiting, they scrubbed her, of course. And I do think cults, have we learned nothing? Are fair game. Second to that is she's only practiced law for 3 years. She's how old? 40 something? 3 years.
Late 40s, yeah.
Okay. And
yeah,
this is kind of like there's a lot there.
Mostly a professor.
Yeah, she's a professor, college professor. I mean, okay, a good college, but nevertheless, does that not seem fair game that she's and there are a few people who have apparently broken out from the cult and have been through hell. And one of them, you can go look it up online. I don't think that's Catholic. I don't think the Pope would think it was Catholic either. I'm a Jew, and the Hasidim to me aren't Jews either, so it's a cult.
Well, I don't know much about people praise, so I can't really speak to that. I mean, it's a tricky thing to go into a candidate's religion, but look, going after Joe Lieberman because he's Jewish, obviously wrong. Let me finish.
Okay.
Asking whether he'd work on Saturdays if he was vice president or elevated to the presidency is a fair question. So the Dems will have to be a little more delicate than I think Feinstein was in her confirmation hearing for the Fourth Circuit. But look, I think the problem for the Dems is that most people are going to look at her and they're going to say, oh, my God, such a nice person, so attractive, what a family. And I think their best tactic now is just to delay as much as they can, try to push this thing past the election. Because I think if it's a wipeout against Trump and the Republicans, it's going to get a little harder for her to confirm then, I mean, if Cory Gardner gets blown away and then he's the deciding vote. Can
I interject one thing here about that? Because the other part of it is I have a problem with her agreeing to go along with this. I think that talks about her morality. It speaks to her morality. This is ugly stuff that they're doing, and she's willing to allow herself to be used to get herself on the court.
Well, Gorsuch allowed himself to be.
I didn't say he was right either. I didn't say he was.
I'm just saying that didn't,
But this is close. We're already voting. I already voted. People have already made up their minds and are voting, and we are in the election itself. That's what's so heinous about this. I mean, besides all the Merrick Garland thing, I just think this talks to me about who she is too. I think they can't. You're right. Their only move right now is to try and delay, which I don't think that they can do. I don't see how you delay it, so to speak. But I guess there are ways maybe you can. Okay, fine. Other than that, don't let it take any energy. Don't let it take airtime. Because if they take the airtime and give this its push on October 12th, then, Joe Biden's not getting the airtime he needs. So I think they, part of me is like, just get her on there and then go pack the courts when you get Biden in.
Right. Okay.
That's
I buy that.
Yeah.
I buy that.
Yeah. That's how I would have played it. A stimulus package this morning, I didn't see. I don't have my internet on, but they were talking again. But they better do something because there are still 800,000 people collecting unemployment. I have 3 friends who lost their job this week who work for the airlines. Yeah. And they are freaked out totally because one was moving to Florida and can't now because she gets $700, almost $700 in New Jersey, but she can only get $193 here. So it's like life. Brutal. It's brutal. It's brutal. They did just say that spending rose, but it's from savings. Down here, he opened up the state and everything else, but not the government, by the way. I just want to say that. So I'm throwing a lot out. We're going to go a little longer than I thought, Matt, because this is too good. We've got too much going on. Lindsey Graham. Proud boy Lindsey Graham isn't too proud to beg for money, honey.
Where are you going with this?
You're supposed to take the ball. I just threw it.
You're speaking in good. What do you mean money? What? Because he's saying I'm getting outspent. Oh, poor me.
He's going on Fox News every 5 minutes. Give me my money. Send me money. They're outspending me. Oh my God, 2 to 1. Blah,
That's what I would do. That's what I would do if I was Lindsey Graham.
I would never belittle myself to that. He wants to get reelected.
That's what all fundraising is.
You want to get reelected, Lindsey? Here's how you get reelected. You go on Fox News and you say, I was wrong, honey. I was wrong. This guy's a nutcase, but I'm going to fix it. Get me back into the Senate and I'm going to fix it. Then today he was playing McCain. I can't wait for Mrs. McCain to say, do not use my grandchild to ingratiate yourself with your voters that you're a friend of John's. You're not. Lindsey Graham, who I once thought the world of. Honest to God, it's hard for me to take. I'm sorry. It's just hard for me to take. Sigh.
Yeah, well, he's, look, he's craven and,
he's craven.
He was this way during the Clinton impeachment too. I mean, he likes to act reasonable, and then, he'll do something that's semi-reasonable, and then he's just back to being,
Well, I think he's completely lost it to Trump. Totally lost it to Trump, and he deserves to lose.
But he's in real trouble. He can lose that state, and it's kind of amazing.
Nobody will be happier than I. That's all I have to say. COVID.
COVID. Well, I mean, look, it's bad, and again, I worry about this. I worry that the drug companies are going to go along with Trump in 3 weeks when he says, like, we're just about to have a cure, and we're all set. We've made incredible progress, and it's here, and they're going to say, like, I just don't think the drug companies are pushing back enough on his insane claims.
I don't remember which company it was, forgive me, but right before we went to record today, one of them said, I'm sorry, but it's not going to be out before November, the middle to the end of November. I don't remember which one of it there was. I think they're kind of backing up. This Redfield guy is really interesting to me, the CDC guy. He's trying
to ride the tiger.
Yeah. There are those who say he should quit and really make a stand now. Fauci tried to push him to that, and so did Birx, I guess. She got what she deserved because she went in there too far and played. But this guy Redfield's this is not a strong man, and he is not the man who should be in there if he can't answer to Trump. And I think we're getting at critical mass here. Like I started to say before, they opened up the state when the numbers on the deaths per day in Florida are the highest in the country right now. It's almost 200 a day. And the numbers by the way, I talked to Rebecca, what's her face, the one who did did the screen for the healthcare for Florida, and then they fired. Maybe we'll get her on the show, but she said to me that the numbers in all age groups in Florida are going up.
Oh boy, that's not good.
And the very next day after he opened up the thing, I mean, the place was just, you can't go anywhere, where it's just nobody's wearing masks anymore. They're gone. And
right.
So, but Fauci is out there saying, I don't think you people get it. And, and then DeSantis pulls this one. It didn't stop Disney, by the way, of throwing off 1,000 billion people today. They had to let go. So, I mean, he's trying to save the economy. What? People my age are not going out. That I will tell you. But right. This Redfield, Matt, he concerns me. I just don't think he's a strong man for the job as we go into what looks like, is going to be the second wave.
I understand.
Yeah. Cornell University researchers found that President Trump was the largest driver of falsehoods involving the pandemic. Was it the Washington Post, New York Times lead story? It's concerning. Are we concerned? Should we be concerned? Are you concerned?
Of course I'm concerned. Absolutely. I'm not really surprised that he's the driver. I mean, he's got the biggest megaphone and he's totally reckless. So, yeah, I mean, it is concerning. And, I think fortunately the public is, not taking its cues from him. They're generally doing the right things. So, thank God for that.
So tell me this. What?
Yes.
Go ahead. No, what were you going to say?
No, go ahead. No, I didn't.
I was actually, we've got the, coming up next week, we have, the debate with
Kamala Harris and Mike Pence.
Yeah, and whatever. Boy, she is the least visible candidate for vice president I can ever remember. I wonder why he's keeping her so, but I guess if they go to hearings, she'll have her voice, but isn't he keeping her very quiet?
Well, I don't know if it's a keeping her, I mean, that I think implies that she wants to do something different. I don't, but it's the right question. I mean, she's not super visible, and is she doing a sort of more, below the radar, trying to drive up African American and minority turnout that's, maybe not getting as much play as if she were going on the Today Show all the time.
I think it's very odd. And his numbers are down with African Americans. Now, they may be saving him in South Carolina.
I think I saw my first Biden ad that had her in it.
Oh, you did see that? Because I haven't seen one.
Yeah. So,
it is odd, right?
Well, I find it a bit odd. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But, on the other hand, I guess they got their reasons. Anyway, she's going to be front and center for this debate. I mean, that is a huge audience. It's not as big as the presidential, but it's awfully big. Yeah,
she's so dynamic, and Pence is such a dud, Mr. Clean.
Yeah, but he did.
But he
did very well against Kaine. I think don't underestimate it.
No. I mean, you're looking at it from 2 points of view then, because then you're looking at it from, he's an able debater and on the issues and all of that. There's that. But he is one of the dullest human beings walking the face of the earth.
Yeah, I think there's no question that he's,
And she's just got so much twinkle. And
he's
smart too.
Who returns your hedge? He returns your hedge trimmer on time, but he's also the neighbor who narcs you out that you didn't shovel your driveway or something. So he's
goofy.
He's a mixed bag, but he's done well in these debates, and I'm sure she knows that. And I think it'll be interesting how she comports herself in it.
So where do you see? What should be on our radar for? The coming week, what should we be paying attention to? What are you looking to pay attention to?
Well, I'm always watching closely where the candidates go, and Biden's been to Minneapolis twice in a week. I think, or a little longer. I think keep an eye on the map changing. I think there's still a possibility Trump can flip Minnesota. Let's see if Biden plunges into more red territory, does some Ohio, maybe takes a trip to Georgia or something. So I'm intrigued by where they go. I always watch that.
I thought that he was way ahead in Minnesota, no? I thought that was one of the...
Biden?
Yeah.
Up, but not as much as a lot of other places. I think any place you got a lot of white people... a lot of non-college educated whites,
be afraid.
Fertile for Trump. Yeah, I just say Iowa was. I mean, I think the map's more interesting than Pennsylvania looked like the most Biden friendly of the Trump states, but it's actually
Wisconsin.
He's doing much better. He's doing much better in Wisconsin than I would have guessed, and worse in Pennsylvania.
Me too. That's exactly my thoughts on it. Yeah.
So that's
it. So Matt's advice is you really want to know what's going on. Follow where Biden goes.
Ask why they're there.
So, how about some nice news?
That's a good note to end on. I like that.
Jimmy Carter turned 96 years young today.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Interesting man. Yeah.
Jonathan Alter, the journalist,
has this wonderful new book on him, and I look forward to reading it. I was kind of involved with that. That was like my foray, in a sense, into politics way back when, because one of my friends who I was dating at the time was one of the people who kind of discovered him and put a lot of money behind his candidacy. I was too girly to appreciate what I was in the middle of at the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
no, I get it.
It was I was a babe, but
you were a kid.
I really was a kid, and I'm a case of arrested development anyway. I mean, I was really a kid back then. But it to watch what happened and who the players were and how they did it was really fascinating. And here he is, 96 years later, and my God. The other nice thing, and this is what I guess we'll end on. Joe Biden FaceTimed with Mr. Rogers' widow, Joanne, yesterday. She's as special as Mr. Rogers. I don't know if you've ever known her or paid attention to her, but she it was like Mrs. Santa Claus. They both were like, Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus anyway. But apparently he's from Pennsylvania, Mr. Rogers, and that was one of the towns that Joe was in yesterday. And anyway, She had said about a few months ago that Trump was a horrible person, which for somebody like Mrs. Claus, Mrs. Rogers, was a big deal. Yeah. Because that's just not the land that she plays in. But she also called herself a fan of Joe, and so Joe called her, and they did a FaceTime thing. And yeah, it was set up, and it was whatever. But could we get back to that kind of simplicity?
Yeah, I believe we will.
Do you? Do you really?
Yes.
I hope you're right, because I'm not feeling that right now.
No, I understand.
I'm really not feeling that right now.
No, I understand.
Not at all. It's been lovely catching up. Thank you, sir.
Lovely, dear. Thank you. See you next time.
See you next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Halli Casser-Jayne Show, a production of Resec LLC. The Halli Casser-Jayne Show posts new podcasts Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, and is available at hallicasserjayne.com and on all your favorite apps. Be sure to visit us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and follow me on Twitter at the Halli CJ Show. Until next time, this is Halli Casser-Jayne.